Air brakes test.
Air brake test. All right. It's basically separated into two parts. One, you're testing to make sure that it doesn't leak and the low air warnings pop out and do everything properly. And then the other ones are the tuck tests. All right. So I do the tuck test first. You're not going to shut down. First thing I'm going to test is my trailer brake. Make sure it's working properly. I'm going to disengage my truck brake and try to drive forward. This truck should not move. Which it doesn't. All right. Next I'm going to test is my truck brake. I'm going to disengage my trailer brake and then put this truck in drive and try to drive forward. Again, we should not move. Which we don't. All right. Pizza won't do that. They'll automatically push it in neutral.
Yeah, rejects it, right? Yeah.
Yep. All right, next thing we're going to do is a service brake test. We're going to disengage both brakes, put in drive forward 5 miles an hour with both hands on the wheel. Once we reach 5 miles an hour, we're going to lightly apply the brakes and we're going to take our hands off the wheel. This truck should not pull to the left or the right. Don't worry, I know how to brake properly. You won't go anywhere unless you make me mad. And then trailer brake stick forever to release. So, bring it up to 5 miles an hour, both hands on the wheel. We've reached 5. Nice and gently, and the truck doesn't pull to the left or the right. All right, let me back it up back into that spot. I'm surprised them brakes weren't frozen.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is chalk the wheels. Chalk the wheels. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Anytime you step out of this truck, make sure both brakes are applied. Truck is in neutral. All right, so let me go chalk them up real quick. So the reason why we chalk, all right, and the reason why we do this test, this is called the applied pressure test. We are testing for air leakage in the system, all right? Right now, these brakes are pulled out. That means we have no air in the system whatsoever. So we need to push these brakes in to be able to test for air leakage. Because now, if you listen, you can hear the hiss, we have air in the system, all right? So that means we have no brakes. So that means we have to chalk our wheels. Now, we don't want the air compressor to be running while we're trying to test for leakage. So we turn the truck off, but we put it back in the on position so the gauges work. Once you've pressed in the brakes here and you turned off the truck and put it back in the on position, now we're ready to do the applied pressure test. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply firm pressure to the pedal, all right? And we're gonna wait for the gauges to stabilize. Once they do, you're gonna turn to your tester and be like, okay, look, I shouldn't lose more than 4 PSI in 60 seconds in a combination vehicle. All right, so firm pressure on the brakes, wait for the gauges to settle. Time me for 1 minute. We should not lose more than 4 PSI. He's gonna sit there for like 5 seconds. All right, you're good. We didn't lose more than 4 PSI. Next, we're gonna test this low air warning system. We're gonna pump down the brakes right around 60 PSI or so. You're gonna hear a warning buzzer and you're gonna see warning lights on the dash indicating that you got low air pressure. The actual verbiage, however, is at or before 60 PSI.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What were you doing to the steering wheel there, that button?
What button?
Oh,
I was going through the menus to get to the...
to the regular trip menu.
Yeah, to that. So no, it's so that way I can read the voltmeter.
Oh, gotcha.
The alternator. That's what I was doing.
Okay. All
right, so we're going to pump down the brakes at or before 60 PSI. Is when you're going to hear the buzzer and the warning lights. There we go. You can hear the buzzer and you can see the 2 warnings. All right. Next, we're going to do the valve pop out. All right. We're going to keep pumping down the brakes. All right. Anywhere between 20 and 45 PSI. These brakes will pop out because there's not enough air in the system to hold those springs up. Keep those pads or the linings off the rotor or the drums. All right. So keep doing this until both of them pop out. Both of them have to pop out. There we go. They both popped out. Next is called the recovery stage. All right. We got to do a safe start first. Obviously, our brakes are popped because they just popped. The truck is in neutral. We're going to start the truck and rebuild our air pressure to the governor cutout of 120 to 125 PSI. Now, before we get to the governor cutout, anywhere it's at or after 60 psi, our visual warnings will go away, letting us know that we have low air. So we'll do that first. At or after 60 psi. That's why I just say right around. So let's bring it up to at or after 60 psi. So our little lights will go away. There we go. Now all we got to do is wait for the governor cutout of 120 to 125. We're going to listen for the blow-off valve, which is the governor cutout, and we're going to listen for leaks as it does it. But while we're waiting right here, I'm just going to go ahead and put my chocks back in the dog box. Get that done with. Alright, once we reach governor cutout, then that'll be the end of the test.
Sneeze up there.
No, not yet. Unless I missed it.
You missed it. I heard it. Didn't you hear it?
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, thanks, though.
Maybe we didn't hear it.
I heard it.
All right, well, I'm close enough. All right,
Yeah,
that
those
concludes
things are
the
so
air brake
goddamn
test.
quiet nowadays. Jesus. Even
So-
the tractor's quiet.
A couple things, all right.